do you think is one of the biggest financial risks that women face? Is it not saving enough, earning enough, or investing enough? Actually, it's none of those. The biggest risk is refusing to talk about money. See, I was having coffee with a friend to try to help her come up with a savings plan, and she said, I'd rather talk about my sex life or the lack of one than my money. And she wasn't joking. A recent survey found that nearly half of women get anxious just thinking about money. And around 45% avoid the topic altogether, not because we don't care, but because we're afraid of being judged or being told we've somehow fallen behind. Think, when was the last time you really looked at your finances? Not the quick glance, not the, I'll get to it later, but an honest look. See, if you don't face your money now, you could reach retirement and realize you can't afford to retire. You might have to keep working, not because you want to, but because you have to. And you know what? You wouldn't be alone. The US Census Bureau says half of women between 55 and 66 have no retirement savings. Imagine working your whole life, caring for everyone else, and still having nothing to fall back on. But the more you avoid your finances, the more in the dark you remain, and that can lead to painful outcomes. Let me tell you about mine. You know, I wasn't financially clueless. As CNN's business correspondent for more than 15 years at the New York Stock Exchange, I knew the ABCs of investing. I interviewed Mark Cuban and Nouriel Roubini and Warren Buffett. But at home, I wasn't applying any of it to my own life. It's kind of like being a personal trainer who never goes to the gym. It's not that I was incapable or incompetent. I was focused on raising our kids and growing my career, so it was easier and honestly a relief just to pass it all off to my husband. Oh, he tried to get me involved. I was the one who said, nope, I don't have time. So he picked up the ball and made sure we were financially solid. The thing is, when only one person carries all the financial responsibility, the other can slowly lose confidence, clarity, and connection to the money. So when my marriage ended, everything became my responsibility. Refinancing the house and trading in the car, and because I hadn't been involved in those things before, I didn't feel confident. I was overwhelmed, lost. I was terrified of making mistakes. I felt like a hypocrite. On the outside, it looked like I had it all together. But on the inside, I was embarrassed and ashamed. And I kept thinking, what if CNN found out? Would they renew my contract? Now, if I could feel this lost, imagine how many others do too. For many of us, our relationship with money often begins in childhood. Watching how our parents handle money can shape how you handle it now. What did you hear growing up? We can't afford that. Turn off those lights. We don't own the electric company. These are the message, though, that stay with us, quietly shaping our beliefs around money. See, I grew up watching some dysfunction around money. My parents relied on credit cards and often paid only the minimums. I swore I'd never be like that. Yet, when I faced big financial decisions, I froze. Something else chipped away at my confidence. As a kid, my dad was a drug addict who dished out a daily dose of emotional terrorism. He was furious one moment, high the next. I never knew which dad I was getting. I remember holding my breath, waiting to see who he'd be each day. Living in that kind of chaos, it taught me how to stay small, just to keep the peace. It cost me my confidence. He called me fat, stupid, and that it would never amount to anything. And eventually, I believed him. So when I got married, I carried all of that with me without even realizing it. Naturally, it spilled into how I handled money. But this isn't about being a victim. This is about acknowledging the emotional weight that so many women carry when it comes to money. And here's what I've learned. The missing link isn't just knowledge. It's confidence. And confidence isn't a luxury. It's the foundation we all need to build around money. And it's a lifelong journey. I let my husband handle everything financially because I trusted him. And thankfully, he's a good guy. He never misused that trust. But I stayed in that marriage years longer than I should have because I didn't know how to do the financial things he was doing. The turning point came when the pain of staying finally outweighed the fear of leaving. I had to take charge, not just for me, but for our 2 young children. So, do you truly understand your family's financial situation? Because money is one of the most influential forces in our lives, yet it's one of the least discussed. It's not forbidden, it's just, uncomfortable, uncertain, heavy. But that silence or avoidance comes at a cost, because this isn't just about money. It's about building a foundation. A UBS study found that nearly 50% of married women hand over long-term financial decisions to their spouse. And we don't think about it when life feels stable. But life can change in an instant. Partners die. Marriages end. Health changes. And suddenly you're left standing there in a financial fog, unsure of where anything is or how to move forward. It's not just overwhelming, it's disempowering. Because here's the truth. When you're not actively involved in your financial life, it can be hard to trust your own decisions. And without that self-trust, even small choices can feel overwhelming. So I'm on a mission for women to start talking about what's truly at stake when we avoid our financial lives. Because financial literacy, it isn't just about money. It's about choices, giving you the freedom to say no to what doesn't serve you, the freedom to start something new, the freedom to live life on your own terms. It's a lifelong journey of learning. So start by being real with yourself with these 3 brave questions to help you understand where you are with your money and how to move toward financial freedom. The first question to ask yourself is, am I being honest with myself about how I handle money? You can't change what you're unwilling to look at. And for years, I hid behind excuses. Not a numbers person. He's better at it. Oh, I'll deal with it when the kids are older. The reality? I was scared of getting it wrong, so I did nothing. Being honest with myself? That was hard, so I get it. And if your honest answer about your money is, oh no, I've been avoiding it, that's not a failure. It's a starting point. My friend Joanna, she racked up $40,000 in credit card debt, unopened envelopes piling up, paying just the minimums, interest accumulating. Be honest. Are you stuck or are you hiding? Because deep down, I think most of us already know the next step. Asking for the raise, making the payment, facing what's waiting. Real change begins when you decide to face it. And you know what? If it feels overwhelming, then start small. A weekly 30-minute money date. Review your accounts, check your spending. Small steps create confidence, and confidence creates power. The second question to ask yourself is, what will the impact be on my life years from now if nothing changes? Okay, confession, I'm a sugar addict. Ironic because my mom has diabetes. Did that stop me? Nope. I treated cookies like a food group until my blood sugar came back high. The thought of daily insulin shots, that was my instant wake-up call. I dramatically cut back eating sugar. With health, the consequences can be more immediate. With money, it can take some time. Interest, inflation, compounding, all abstract. And because the impact feels far away, it's easy to disengage. But every ignored bill, every "I'll handle it later," quietly shapes your future. Years from now, you'll wish you'd paid attention. We assume there's tomorrow. So did Jan and her husband. He was diagnosed with colon cancer 2 years before he passed. That meant 2 years to plan, 2 years to prepare. But they thought they had more time. One Thursday, his health turned quickly. Jan called the estate lawyer in a panic. She reviewed the documents Friday and planned to sign Monday. But Sunday, he died. No will. She said, "We thought he had weeks." It turned out to be days. He had assured her she was the beneficiary on the accounts. Afterwards, she learned the truth. One account had no beneficiary, 2 others listed his sister. Jan's grief quickly turned to fear, realizing there was no financial safety net for herself and their 2 young children. Her story is a reminder that the cost of waiting is more than money. The real price is regret. How easily we can mistake excuses for reasons. I'm too busy. We'll get to it. There's still time. Until there isn't. Seeing the true impact of waiting brings us to the third and final question to ask yourself. What's one small step I can take toward financial freedom? Tracking your spending for 30 days. Translation? Budgeting. I know, I can hear it. I cue the eye rolls. You'd think I said a 4-letter word. But you can't manage what you don't measure. Tracking shows where your money actually goes and what habits are running the show. It's where change begins. Think of it like cleaning out your closet. You've ignored the clutter, shoved things to the back. Some don't fit and others you're holding on to for no reason. Budgeting opens the door. You see what matters and what to release. And honestly, most of us need that reality check. And if you're like me, ladies, you also need that closet detox. So ask yourself, do I really spend that much on takeout? And when did my Starbucks runs become a retirement contribution? Tracking gives you the truth. Budgeting gives you a plan. That's how you build financial control and eventually freedom. And yes, you've heard all of this before. That's because there is no shortcut. Skip this step and you stay on the treadmill like roughly 60% of Americans who can't cover a $1,000 emergency. You don't have to make a giant leap, just a move. Check your credit score. Set up an automatic $50 transfer to your investment account. Read that finance book that's been gathering dust. Because confidence doesn't come before action. It's built through action, even if it's messy, even if it's late. This is bigger than budgets and investments. This is about releasing the shame and old conditioning that may be keeping you on the sidelines of your financial life. And you don't need to know everything today. For me, confidence didn't come from getting it all right. It came from moving forward anyway, because no one was coming to save me. I had to save myself. It's why I wrote my book, What's Up with Women and Money, to help every woman step fully into her financial confidence, even if you're doing it scared. Because even some of the most intimidating things can become easier once we face them. Confidence is built one step at a time. So ask yourself those 3 brave questions. Am I being honest with myself about how I handle money? What will my life look like if nothing changes? What's one small step I can take today? 3 questions, 1 step. And when one woman steps fully into her financial confidence, her daughter sees it. Conversations shift. The silence around money begins to break. Financial literacy becomes contagious. When you commit to this lifelong learning, your confidence grows. Not someday, not one day, today. Thank you.